Boy, that brings back some memories, doesn't it? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Spesh. Now, as the Outbreak grows bigger and bigger inside of Cold War Zombies, we are bound to be getting plenty of new maps to play on. As of now, pretty much all of the maps inside of Outbreak are just reused maps from Fireteam Dirty Bomb. But Treyarch has said that Call of Duty Zombies will be getting their very own Zombies versions of Outbreak maps that are specific to zombies and not to multiplayer. Now, there has been a ton of speculation throughout the past couple of years with Black Ops 4 and now Black Ops Cold War about a Tranzit Remake. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like Tranzit like when I first played it, but I played it a lot for some reason, and you know what? I'm not the only one apparently. People kind of like Tranzit a little bit. So let's dive in and discuss exactly how Tranzit could be coming back inside of Black Ops Cold War and what that could mean for the storyline of both the Dark Aether and our original premise storyline. This has a lot of implications to it. So first, let's talk about some things that point towards Tranzit coming back in Black Ops Cold War. If you remember on the Blackout map inside of Black Ops 4, we had the diner already pre-made inside of that map. We also had the TED robot remade as well as the Tranzit bus. Basically, all of the assets that are needed for Tranzit to come to Black Ops Cold War are already in the game. Now, Treyarch often reuses these assets for different things, basically to save some money and some manpower when they have, you know, an entire team working on one thing. They would love to be able to use those assets for another thing and kind of repurpose them. So with all these things already inside of Treyarch's archives, there's really no reason for them to not remake the Tranzit map at this point, right? And also, interestingly enough, when Tranzit first came out way back in, what, 2012? Back in my day. It was meant to be like the first iteration of an open world zombies map. That's why it was so big and there was so much running around, is because it was like the first of its kind to basically switch up the meta of Call of Duty Zombies. And that aspect of it kind of failed, and thus Treyarch returned to the normal round-based zombies mode that we know and love. They didn't have the technology or the manpower to basically create the mode the way they wanted to, and they've basically said this. They have said that Outbreak is something that they've been planning on for years, and this is the first time they've ever been able to actually do it. This is Treyarch's baby, and they're going to nurture it the best they can. Tranzit was kind of the first iteration of like this kind of game mode. Then it would make a ton of sense for them to remaster Tranzit as an Outbreak map. That way we could play Tranzit again, and it might not be the same as we played before. Like, it might not just be like a normal zombies map, kind of like how we played before. Also leads to another couple things that they could add to the game. Now, Tranzit Bus Route B was a huge thing back in the day. There were rumors about a second bus route that the bus would go and take you to a different part of the map. Well, if they were to remaster Tranzit as an Outbreak map, they could 100% make that a thing. And now, while this may be a little fan servicey, it also kind of plays in with the storyline. I mean, they could add so much stuff to it if it's bigger and an Outbreak map. Another asset that Treyarch already has in the game is the Avogadro, the electric zombie from Tranzit. Inside of Black Ops Cold War, this is just called the Tempest. But, I mean, it's the same thing. And there also is a chance that they could make this both an Outbreak map and just a regular round-based map. There's no reason why they couldn't do both. If they made it an Outbreak map first, they could easily condense it down into a regular round-based map. That way, players with a more traditional sense for something like that could do that instead. Now, as for how this would work inside of the storyline, it is a bit more tricky. So if you remember at the end of the Togder Toten Easter egg, as like all the universes get destroyed, the Victis crew basically gets sent into the Dark Aether with everything else. And there is a recording from Black Ops 4 that basically has Stuhlinger trying to get a hold of Richtofen. If I can find that recording, I'll play it for you now.
This thing on? Richtofen! Hey, Richtofen! You've been gone from my head a really long time. I gotta be honest, I'm freaking out a bit, man. It's so quiet. I can actually hear myself think. Do you know what that's like? It's not nice at all. So, listen, buddy, old pal, we gotta talk. You sent us here, of all places, but you forgot to tell us what to do. It's dark, it's damp, it's just really filthy. I think the roaches are crawling with roaches. How is that even possible? Wait, shoot. Am I even talking to the right Richtofen? Oh, you could be the other one, right? Or the other one. You know what? Just go talk to your Richtofen pals at the hoity-toity Ricky Gang Clubhouse and find out what the we're supposed to be doing.
So basically in the recording, Stuhlinger is telling Richtofen, whichever one he's talking to, about about things inside of the Dark Aether and how they're inside of the Dark Aether. And the most interesting thing about that is we have learned that while inside the Dark Aether, people begin to change. They start to gain scales, they start to look all alligatory, get like sharp teeth, all this good stuff. So while it might not make sense for like us to go back to Transit, it would be incredibly interesting if we were to go back to Transit, because there's all of a sudden an outbreak in this area in DC. We go back to this area, and as the portals are happening at this Transit map, we see the Victis crew. They're basically the main antagonists through this whole thing. They're pissed, they want to come back and wreak havoc on the world, and it's our job to stop them. I feel like that would just add another crazy wrinkle into the lore of Transit, and it would make a ton of sense because we know that they're in there, and if they're still alive, then there's huge storyline implications to that. So honestly, at this point, I really don't see a reason why they wouldn't remaster Transit in some capacity. And I feel like it'd be a great opportunity for them to kind of expand their reach on the new Outbreak game mode. And a lot of that is stuff they're already doing. You can click into one of these videos on the screen right now, and I will talk about how they're doing things inside of Outbreak right now in Call of Duty. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you found this video helpful. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.